friends, here are a few ways that you can support us by supporting my sponsors. Elmer Garcia, Realtor, and AVS Concepts, Audio and Video Home Entertainment. Those are my sponsors. Go follow them. You can find the information on the description. The other way you can also find out of everything that we're doing is join our newsletter at tbbbyalicia.com, and that's going to give you all the things that we're talking about, everything, all the resources, all the stuff that you want to know. The other way that you can also support us and keep our podcast striving is through joining our Global Vibes Insider community. What is that? What is the Vibes Global Insider? It is a group where you can come in as an insider and subscribe and join to the community. And it was created for you, to inspire you, to educate, to show how you can craft the life you wish to live. It is filled with experiences, including in-person events, business masterminds, speakers, resources. You get shout outs in the podcast. We invite you to workshops. We get to go on local trips and even wine tastings. So how do you get to join that group? So you'll go to my website at tbbbyalicia.com, and then you select the community group, and there's 3 tiers. The first tier is the secret tier. It's for $10, and that includes a t-shirt, a signed book by me, and a shout out on the podcast, $10 a month. The next tier is the explorer tier, and that is for $25 a month, and it's a t-shirt, a book, and a shout out. Plus, I'm including a monthly one-to-one chat with me, and those are monthly one-on-one chats with me. You don't want to miss those. Those are amazing 30-minute one-to-one chats for $25. And the last tier is a $45 Globetrotter, and that includes all the things I mentioned before: the t-shirt, the book, the monthly one-on-one, the shout out on the podcast. Plus, you get invite to members only, insider only events, a welcome travel gift box. You know, I bring great things for my travels. And also I'm adding a digital style mood board for you. It includes styling, it includes accessories, everything customized and personal for you. Again, this is how you can contribute, and you can be a part of us, and you help us keep our podcast thriving. I hope you join. Welcome back to Vibes by Alicia podcast. I am so thrilled that you are here and giving me a bit of your ear to hear stories and ideas that I find meaningful and inspiring. This podcast is designed to encourage all of you to be so inspirational that other people crave your vibes. You guys, I have someone here that is so inspirational that I follow her because I do crave her vibes, to be honest. I'm so excited to bring to y'all a young woman that I met a few years ago. And, back then she was modeling for me, but now and today she's taking her dreams to another level and she's making them a reality. I met Fatima Gutierrez a few years ago, and to tell you that she had that chispa that she mentioned earlier, chispa was like the most perfect word for her, because, when I met her and I knew she had that chispa, and she was so open to just trying on clothes. I said, hey, I need you to model this. I need you to model that. And she was so fun. And now she has, created her own boutique. It's very unique. It's very fun. She calls it traditional clothing for the baddies. And if anything, I think we're both baddies over here. And I want to encourage all of you to please follow what she's doing, and let's learn a little bit about Fatima. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Alicia. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here and talk a little bit about, the brand and reconnect. It's been a long time.
Yes.
Like you said, when I first met you, you are someone that I could relate and look up to.
Oh, thank you.
And it feels so good to be here back and talk a little bit about business, about, woman empowerment and lifestyle, beauty, and everything.
I know all the great things that we love, right?
Yes.
For me, I think, having the podcast has been a way for me to share the people that I'm so encouraged by, inspired by, motivated by. And one of the things that motivates me so much is the young women doing things their way and doing things that have a purpose, that have meaning, that carry their heart in everything that they do. And that's one thing I did notice about you, is that, one thing you do very well is that you do share your heart with everyone.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's very important, not just in business, but in life in general. Do things that are meaningful to you and do it with purpose. Like, wake up in a day And, you know, like today I'm going to go to the podcast with Alicia and talk about my business. And
Yes.
I have so many other things to do today, but today it's important to me because I get to share my story with you. And I know people that are going to listen that probably had been in my shoes because my journey has been really tough. And I think we will talk about it later on in the podcast today. And I feel like a lot of people will be able to relate. And hopefully if they're listening to this, they can see my story and they can also be like, I can do it too. If she did it, I can do it.
Yeah, and I think one way that we encourage each other and we bring each other up and we build each other up is by sharing what our journeys are. And I know for you, your journey started in Mexico and then here in the United States as a young girl. I want you to tell my listeners a little bit more about you're a dreamer. You mentioned that and you talk about that, and now you have your green card, which congrats. I mean, it's a big deal for you because I know it's important for you. Tell us a little bit about your story. Tell us about where you come from and your family.
Yeah, a lot of people get confused that I'm Mexican, but I'm actually Salvadorian. I marry a Mexican. So that was where the inspiration came from. But that is the next step for Guaraxez. Talking about journey, it's like not just bringing stuff from Mexico, but also from El Salvador, from Guatemala, from all Latin America. Like that is the next big step. And now that I have my green card, I'm able to travel, something that I couldn't done before. So I was very restricted in that area. But yeah, I come from El Salvador, a very small town called La Union. I immigrated to this country when I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
I came with a visa. My background, I was a middle class. My mom was a lawyer in El Salvador. And my life wasn't bad, you know? But the reason that we came here is because El Salvador is such a small country with very small resources. The people study, they go to school, but they cannot find a job or, you know, there's just not enough job for people that have a college degree. Right. So my mom came here and at first I was doomed because I have my life, my family, everything that I love as a little teenage girl just kind of disappeared. And I have to start all over, learn a new language. The culture shock was also very
strong.
Yeah, it was just different. And it was a lot of moving because my mom couldn't find a job here in the United States. I remember moving like 5 times.
I know, and how difficult for someone who was a lawyer in her country.
Yeah.
Very educated and well, established in her country, and then having to reestablish herself.
And a lot of people see that. Like, this is not a story that I'm just going to be telling. I know I have met so many people just that way. And to me, a young child, seeing my mom going from a computer, giving orders to like cleaning toilets, it was a scene that changed my life and kind of that gave me the thinking of it's okay to start all over again. It's okay to get out of your comfort zone to be better. And I feel like if my mom would have done that, I wouldn't be here today.
So your mom is like a model for you.
Yes, she's my world. I love her. And I just get very emotional when I talk about her because I am who I am because of what she did and of all of the morals that she gave me in life. And I follow her book, step by step. So yeah, and being an immigrant child as well, learning a new language.
Yes. No, and it's difficult. And I think we carry, like I'm a first generation myself, but I think a part of the generational or the immigration story is that we have to fulfill the hopes of our parents. Like there's no way for us to not succeed or to not achieve, greatness because they sacrifice so much for us. I feel like that is why you work so hard at what you're doing right now. I don't know any other young woman your age going and doing the things that you're doing in such a big way. And I think it's motivation from your family, from your story, your background.
For sure. I think that's what it is. And also just being able to kind of fulfill dreams and just like not settling because, going back to the point, what she did, I have to kind of give it back, and kind of mom, all the sacrifices you did was for a reason. Like I cannot give up. Like,
no.
Of
course.
So yeah, I think it's very important. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to this.
They can. And I think I can relate to that. I know that for myself, if I'm not achieving more and doing more, I'm letting them down. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not fulfilling their dreams and their hopes. For when my father's father and his mother came, through the Bracero program, and she was pregnant at 8 months, and my daddy was an anchor baby. He was born in Harlingen so that the family had an American citizen, in the United States, and that's my dad. And so I know the whole story. I know everything. And that to me pushes me to keep achieving, to do more and do more. And when something comes in my way and it's an obstacle, I always think about them. And I say, this can't be an obstacle for me. There has to be a way for me to figure this out and work it out and like push. And I think those are the things that a lot of immigrant kids carry with them. And it can also be a little bit of a curse because sometimes we don't give ourselves a break.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. Yeah, I can understand
I know. So you started your store at Guaraxez, which is spelled Guarexez, which, by the way, the X is CH sound.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I was just in Spain, and they use the X as a ch sound as well. So I'm guessing it's carried from Spanish.
Yeah, so it's like a little trabalenguas, tongue twister.
I love it. It's a tongue twister. Yeah, trabalenguas.
And also, we play with the sounds. So I was like, I initially started selling Guaraxez, and Guaraxez is spelled with the H, the H sound. And I was like, okay, let's, use the same word, but in a different, spelling it. And it came out cute.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect because even people who don't know, that is really how the X is pronounced initially. It's a ch sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in Spain, when I was there this past month, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff in X instead of the CH. They use it so well and so much. It makes so much sense. So you started your store, Guaraxez. You started it when? That was...
I started during the pandemic time, like on 2019, like December 2019, and then on 2020. And it was kind of crazy because you would think that pandemic times will make business a little bit slower.
Right.
But it was the opposite because everybody was at home, everybody was on their phone. And I think that was part of my success. I used social media. I remember I first posted it on Twitter because I was very active on Twitter. I'm not anymore. I'm getting older. And I posted saying... I just started my business and talking a little bit more about it. And I think it was something, I wouldn't say revolutionary because artisanal clothing has been here for many years. I am not the first one, but I think will say that I am one of the first ones to bring it in a modern and sexy way. And I think that's what people feel like, well, I never seen this before.
They gravitate to that because it's different.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you're, have you ever been called out on like, you're not keeping traditional clothing?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I figure that's going to be something that people are going to be like, oh, that's not traditional. Why are you like making it sexy? It's not sexy. It's indigenous.
Yes, all the time. But, times changes.
Okay.
Times changes, just like evolution, I feel like it's important to, and I'm going to touch people, people might agree and not disagree,
No, that's fine, yeah.
They're saying in Spanish, para gustos hay colores y para colores hay personas, ¿me entiendes? Everybody has different tastes. And I think what I'm doing is keeping traditions alive, but catering to modern taste,
Yes.
I believe that I like to dress sexy. I like to, I'm Latina,
Yeah, me too.
And I don't think being sexy should overshadow our power or like, oh, if you dress sexy, people won't take you serious or like, I get that a lot.
I disagree with that as well. Like I know I'm 47. I'll be 50 very soon. And I'm thinking I'm not going to dress like a 50-year-old woman. I'm still going to dress like I feel like dressing because I feel good.
And you look good too.
I have a 20-year-old and I'm like, yeah, so what? I feel good. I feel happy. I work on myself. I work out. I eat well. I do everything that I love to do. Why am I supposed to look like an old lady? Whose rules are those?
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that. So you do get a lot of backlash on that. I'm guessing.
I just move on. I listen to them, but there's always going to be people talking, saying, but just move on, do your thing, and I think that's what people should do. There's always going to be talk.
You mentioned on your Instagram that your business is a fair trade business. What does that mean? And tell us what that means for the people that are like interested in like shopping fair trade.
Okay, that means that we work with a small group of artisans. Like a lot of our clothing does include machine work, but we work in regions of Chiapas and Oaxaca. So we have a main person that she's like our main production head that I talk to. And then since I am not able to travel there very often, she's the one that takes care of production. And she goes and look for people that live in very rural areas of Mexico. Okay. And they come into our production shop and they work for us.
Fair trade, basically, you are paying a fair wage.
And a lot of people is like, oh, I can buy that in Mexico for 100 pesos, which is $5, and I'm selling for 15, right? Let's say that. So it's just like people sometimes overlook what goes behind a business, you know, paying them fairly, importation, you know, employees.
Import taxes, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like even, you know, it's very bold to say, but like my margin of, how do you say this in English?
Profitability.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
It's not really high, and I'm okay with that because I know my target market is Latinos, and Latinos sometimes relate artisanal clothing to a mercado. And what do you go do to a mercado? Vas a regatear. How do you say that in English?
Yeah, you go bargain shopping. Yeah.
And so, like, we have this...
negotiate. You negotiate. The people negotiate. Or they're
in
like,
our culture.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel they can do that, but you don't go negotiate with Nike
No,
or
they
Adidas.
don't.
So,
They don't. But I think, yeah, for sure. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
I think they have that sense that they have to negociar. They have to, like, you know, negotiate with you and bring it down like until you get to the point where, like, that poor artisan isn't making any money anymore. And that's unfair to them because a lot of time, number one, it's handcrafted, which means it's their time and their effort. It's their skill sets, right? It's what their culture, what they're bringing into it. And I think every single piece has a story, no?
Yeah, no, like a lot of the clothing does not repeat. And we get that too with a lot of our customers. We always try to write it down in our description that a lot of the items are made in small batches. So like they hand draw, like they grab a piece of fabric and they draw it with a white pencil and they start doing the flowers. And then with a machine pedal, they go and they start drawing the flowers. So it's not like computerized, you know, it's their imagination, what color they want to write it. It's very in the moment kind of thing, like
inspired by that moment right there.
Yeah, like the art, you know, like art, when you know, like an artist is painting, it's them with the embroidering. And a lot of our clothes are also hand embroidery, which takes hours, you know, and there's so many techniques that, you know, indigenous people use to make this clothing that it just blows my mind, you know?
Yeah, of course. And there's a history behind it as well. Not only the hand crafted component, the fact that that person learned it years ago, probably from their parents and their parents from their parents. It's something that's been carried on for generations and maybe hundreds of years, to be honest. And you bring it to the masses, you bring it to Houston, you bring it to the United States. What is the reception? How are people liking your stuff?
People love it. I am just, you know, when I started this, I was like, oh, you know, I'm still a student. And I was like, as long as I make what I'm investing back, I'm okay. You know, I was not going with the highest expectation because we were always afraid of failing. So I was just like, okay, if I do just a little bit, it's fine. And people just went crazy. And it just makes me so happy to look back and just realize how much they have accepted it. And wow, it's just incredible when, you know, our people unite and what they can do. So I'm thankful that a lot of people that helped me, people that didn't even know me, that, you know, it's just crazy to think how far we have come.
No, and I think one thing that you did is you tapped into the young people's need to connect to their culture, but not necessarily do it like the old traditional way. They want to do it their way, which is what the podcast and what I've been talking about lately with people is like doing business your way. And I think that is something you tapped in as a young woman, is you tapped into that nostalgia that they have for their country and their parents' countries and their, you know, abuelitas' countries. They don't necessarily want to wear the traditional garb, but they want something that represents their heritage.
Correct. Yeah, I think you worded just right. And I think that's important. We know a lot of our clients actually wear these dresses, not the most sexy one, but like the more, you know, body, how do you say?
Body conscious?
Yeah, one for like their graduation in school. And that makes me so happy whenever they tag me.
That's
just
amazing.
On May, there was like so many people wearing Guaraxez. Or I went to the rodeo this year, and I saw, kid you now, like 10 people wearing Guaraxez, and I was like, Is this
That's
even real
interesting
life?
that you mentioned that, because the rodeo being a very Tejano thing, it's very Mexican. Tejanos are part of Mexico and the culture and in South America and even Central America. Like we're all a part of this Tejano culture. So bringing this, and even like when Selena was alive, she used to wear a lot of clothing that was very representative of her and her culture and what she was.
Yeah, I mean, Latin culture is everywhere now. Like the clean girl aesthetics, come on, it's Latin, okay? So it's like, have you heard of the clean girl aesthetics?
No, I need you to tell me what that is.
So it's like wearing your hair back, having like the blouse that you're wearing kind of thing.
Am I part of that now?
A little, yeah. So it's like a lot of like white people been wearing that. So like a lot of people on TikTok being like calling them out.
Okay, tell me, clean
girl aesthetic.
Clean,
like,
como limpia.
Yeah, limpia.
Clean, okay, clean. Okay, ¿qué quiere decir clean? Like clean makeup
tienes tu
or
pelo, no, tu pelo para atrás, like a
ponytail.
Unos aretitos, siempre bien arreglada. And that, or like there was a girl saying...
That's been me forever. That's been me like for 30, 40 years now.
There was this girl on TikTok calling aguas frescas spa water. Because she was making like agua de limon, like or chata, or like hibiscus water, which is Jamaica. And she's like, I'm gonna teach you guys how to do spa water. And everybody came out like she was canceled right away. That is not spa water. That is aguas frescas.
And somebody educated her.
Yeah, no, everybody on TikTok went crazy.
Millions of people educated her. That's interesting. But see, that's what I'm talking about. That's the beautiful thing about young people and younger generations, is that you guys are tapping in to things that are so creative, so unique, so different, and saying, you know what? You may call it spa water, but that's not really what it is. It's agua frescas, and we know what it is because we grew up with this. Like you can't like fool us, basically, right? Like I love that about and the creativity you guys bring to the table.
I feel like our generation is full of so much powerful women. Like I love seeing what everybody's doing. Everybody's working every day. Like I follow these people on social media, and I feel like social media is changing now. Back then, it was like a lot like influencer and very like, the people that I follow, at least, when I wake up and I look at social media, I see people that inspire me. Like when I see someone that it's not bringing something to the table, it's bringing me down or comparing myself too much. Yeah. I'm just like,
you disconnect.
Yeah. And then I follow people that are actually people that come from the same background as me. And it just, it makes me want to do better and be better, and I'm glad that there's so many people just like me doing this, doing things to motivate others.
Friends, I must tell you, I know the place to go if you need house audio, TV installation, security monitoring. I am telling you, these people are so, so good that I cannot wait to share them with you. AVS Concepts is the place to get all of these things taken care of. They're the experts in audio video. If you are entertaining and you need music, call them. If you just purchased a new house and you want to have security, you've got to call them. They are the best at all of this for you. I am so excited to share them with you. They are new sponsors for the podcast. You will not regret having them in your house. They can put anything up and create the most amazing surround sound. I am telling you, when I watch my movies, I like to watch them with surround sound. And thanks to AVS Concepts, I can do that. Follow them at their Instagram account, AVSC_HTX, or you can also find them at their website, avcschhouston.com, and tell them that Alicia from Buy and Smile Alicia sent you, and they will take care of you. I promise you.
So you don't see competition as a problem for you?
No, not at all. I love that people reach out to me and tell me I'm open to give tips, and I always tell them, start a business, but have your own essence. Don't try to copy what other people are doing. And I think that's what I've been successful, because I'm not the only one doing this, but I feel like that my business, it stands out from the rest because it's traditional clothing for the baddies, and that it's who we are. And I don't think there's other people like us at all. Like if you see other shops similar to me, their content is totally different than mine.
So are you a baddie, Fatima?
Yes, I am. And I'm proud to say it, you know?
So I see you're dressed today. You're dressed in your own pieces, which is amazing because that means that you believe in what you do.
Yes.
You know, so many people put out things and they don't like really ever even use it. You know, a lot of influencers are like that, you know. I have sponsors sometimes or that somebody reaches out to me, but I'm like, I don't use what you're talking about. So it really doesn't make any sense for me. And I think staying on my brand and my vision, I have to believe in what I'm putting out. And I feel like you do that.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's funny because whenever I'm at the store and people come, and I'm always wearing something Guaraxez, and they're like, "Oh, what are you wearing?" And you know, it pretty much sells.
Oh, it's my label. It's my clothes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. It's super comfortable. How can I not wear it? And
it
it's just
feels so comfy. I need to come get that dress from you.
Yes, and I
love
always
it.
get compliments, and I love the attention. So I'm going to wear it. So,
yes,
yeah.
you're your own marketing billboard sign.
Yes.
You're walking around as a marketing billboard sign like, hey, I'm selling my clothes. You want to know? Oh, here's my website. Here's my Instagram. Your Instagram account, by the way, is so cool. So much fun, by the way. I cannot be dancing on social. That is such a thing that I can't like do. But I admire people who do it. I'm like, God, that's so cool that you can dance in front of social media.
You think that that's just my one video, but I can go to my draft and I have like 30 videos of like, and I'm sweating and I have to those videos have so much production behind.
There's production going on behind. Okay.
Yeah. And it can be a little cringy because I'm like dancing.
But you're selling.
Yeah.
So, she's dancing, but she's selling as well. She's making money. And I think one thing you mentioned at the beginning is that it really wasn't about the big margins for you. It was really about bringing it to the table. And I'm guessing eventually you'll want to, scale and you'll want to grow.
Yeah, that's the idea right now. I just got my green card a few months back. So, and I'm still in school, by the way. So can you imagine?
That's amazing to me that you're doing all that.
Yeah, running a business, going to school. So I'm just trying to graduate. Let's talk about the school side of things.
Yes, tell me about it.
I feel like I don't need to graduate because I have a business, right? So like I'm not looking for a job. But the reason that I'm graduating is going back to the talk about parents. And my mom, she pushes me every day. She tells me, she's like the little voice in my head.
Of course.
Keep going to school. Finish. You got this, So I'm already up to the finish line. So I just want her to have that little paper on her sala, on her living room, hang it, and when people come to her house so she can show it off, Hispanic parents. And also just want to say to people that education is very important. I feel like if I didn't have gone to school, I have come with this naturally talented, creative mind, but school teaches those skills. And not just school, I mean, just a little reading, a book, hearing a podcast, watching a video on YouTube, just educate yourself. I feel like you never can stop learning. Learning is so important. Never settle. Even if you finish school, I know for sure that I'm going to keep reading books. I'm going to keep listening to podcasts, going to conference, just getting those skills and putting it to work.
Right. Constantly learning.
Yeah.
Constantly finding ways to learn. My son as well, like he's in college as well, and he's doing his business and it's doing very well for him. But we always say to him, like, you still have to get your college education because it just really represents the fact that you stuck with something and you made it through to the end. And there's value in that. There's a lot of value in that, and it's something that we also carried from our parents, our immigrant parents. My husband's also the son of immigrants. And so for us, getting an education for them was it was their world. That was everything they wanted for us, is for us to get our college education. And then from there, we could figure things out. We're younger parents, so our kid is a little more like, Mom, but that I just think I really don't need it. I'm doing good. But it's still a good thing to have. It's still something that has meaning behind it.
And it's not necessary, I don't think if you don't go to college, you're not going to be successful. No. Times have changed.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of things that maybe we can talk about, it's like I'm lucky to have the mom that I have that pushes me to do better. Yeah. But there's so many people that don't have a mom like me.
Don't have the support.
Or don't have the support, they don't. I feel like a lot of sometimes Latin parents or Latin culture in general, it's like, we are working people. Like we come to this country, we don't have those privileges sometimes.
Exactly, we don't. You mentioned you have a mother. Do you stay in touch with your dad? Do you know anything?
My dad lives in El Salvador.
Okay. So both of your parents are Salvadoreños. You're Salvadoreña all the way.
All the way.
So when I hear you on Instagram and you have that Mexican accent, I'm like, this girl is Mexican. There's no way.
No, I've been married. I've been married for 2 years, and I've been dating my husband for 10 years.
Oh.
So I came to the United States, and
So I see.
And I found this little beautiful Mexican boy, and I just stuck with him.
fell
We've been
in
dating
love.
for 10 years. And there's even a saying in Spanish that before you even learn English, you come to like a Salvadorian joke. It's like whenever you move to the States, before you even learn English, you are going to learn how to speak like a Mexican.
Yeah,
Because, you know, Mexico is everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's like Mexico is such a beautiful country, and I'm just so happy that I was welcomed to the community like that, and that I feel like I am part Mexican. Like, I'm so proud of being Salvadorian, and I will carry my flag everywhere. But I'm married to a beautiful culture. So
I love that. So you mentioned that your dad knows. Does your dad know what you're doing?
yeah, me and my dad, like my mom and my dad divorced when I was very little. You know, it's like a tough relationship, you know.
Is it supportive? Is it a supportive relationship, or you really don't have much of one?
Not much of a relationship, and I don't mind him. I think having a strong mom, again, you know, my mom is everything, and I never thought that
that you needed him.
Yeah, but my mom always was like, oh, that's your dad, you gotta love him, you know. Right now that you go back to El Salvador, say hi to him, be polite. And I did, but I think growing up with a single, strong mom, it just gave me everything. And
So true. Yeah.
And I feel like there's so many women out there just like me that grew up with a strong single mom, and, you know, it just made them stronger. I think I see women, like, you know, las mujeres, y puedo ver que todo lo que ellos logran siendo una madre soltera. So,
No, and I think the story, or the moral of the story, is that honestly, if you have the will, there is a way.
yeah.
I think that's what it is. It's like there's a will, and it really goes back to the idea that in America you can become what you set your mind to become, and it really is true, because you could come from nothing and become something.
Yeah.
And not only through hard work, but through education and through community and through learning and through growth and being open, right?
Yeah, I think it's very important, because before I had Guaraxez, I was undocumented, so I couldn't find a job. Like, I used to be a nanny. I used to go clean houses with my mother. I used to work as a waiter. I used to work, I remember being in high school. I was 15 years old. It was my first job. Yeah. So I have to go to school, and I was in choir, so I will stay after school for choir, and I will head to work from 7 p.m. to 12 midnight, working at Wingstop. So I've been having multiple jobs, you know, and I think it's so, again, talking about, like, if you can dream it, you can do it. So in those dark times of me, I knew that something good was coming for me, because I was never that person that settled. Like, even though I was cleaning houses, you know, and nannying in the mornings, in the afternoon, I will come and model for you. Or I will join a group in school, EGNM, El Gato Mia Network, and go do these things that we will go to Miami to the conference, you know? So I was undocumented, being a nanny, cleaning houses, but I would be able to sponsor a week away from that job, you know, to go to Miami and talk to these big people, you know? It's like I never settled for what I was leaving, you know? I never let the obstacles bring me down. It made me even stronger. Like, I'm not going to settle for this. I'm not going to look at my life in a sad way. I'm not going to cry myself asleep and be like, oh, I don't have papers, I'm undocumented. Yeah. I cannot do anything. Yes, you can. You know, you can decide. Maybe the restrictions is a lot more than just a regular person, but you can do it.
And a lot of it is your mindset. Yeah. Is that you decided in your mind that you were not just going to be basic, you were going to be better than that, and you're going to achieve more, and you're going to grow more. And this was just a moment in time, you know, the moment in time as working as a nanny or as someone who cleans houses. Because in your head, that dream, that visualization of you where you are today was there. And so you knew you would get there one day. You just had to go through certain moments to get to that point. And I think that's how people visualize success. You know, that's how people have a mindset address or a mindset check when they say, okay, yeah, maybe I'm going through like a low moment or a very sad moment in my life right now, but I know it's going to get better. And that I know it's going to get better is a very like strong feeling that says you're not going to be here forever. This is it's just going to pass, and you're going to get through, and you're going to push. And you're an example of that, Fatima, because that makes sense. Like, that's something that you've gone through, and you've accomplished so much in your life now. Your brand is also size inclusive, and I wanted to talk to you about that because, you know, there's so much talk about clothing out there, mass-produced clothes, you know, trying to fit body positivity, trying to fit the people that think, you know, well, don't be fat, you should be skinny, or you shouldn't be wearing that, you're too big for that, or how do you build that confidence in the women who come to you and say, I could never wear that. That is like something a skinny girl would wear.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it's even harder when you have a slow fashion brand or an artisanal brand, because whenever you work with fast fashion, there's no limit,
there's
you
no
know,
limit.
like there's this, you know, but with artisans, sometimes they were used to working just one size fits all. And a lot of our clothing, we are doing that transition. You know, we haven't gotten there yet. But we started and we are changing things to where one size does not fit all.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like sometimes my customers, I feel like the people that follow me, they already have that confidence. And if they don't, by watching the videos or by seeing people wear it, se animan. You know, it's like, she looks like me.
I could
Why
try it.
not?
I could do it myself.
Yeah. So it just, I feel like things are changing. Sometimes you don't even have to tell them. Like social media now, it's so body positive that it's not something hard to look. Well, it is hard to talk about sometimes, but I feel like people are more open, and I love that, you know?
And the other thing that I noticed just from looking at your Instagram account and the things that you do on TikTok as well, you embody that as well. Like you have a confidence in yourself, in your body. And I think that is the one way that people can definitely relate to your brand, is that you yourself embrace it, feel the brand, feel good in it. And then you encourage your clients, your customers to feel good about themselves just through that inspiration. I'm guessing that's how you get to 266,000 followers. I mean,
yeah,
wow.
I think it's very important to, you know, feel beautiful within yourself and portray that to the world, because if you're not confident, sometimes people will see that in you and they're like, le falta la chispita, you know?
La chispa.
Yeah, la chispa. So I think like women nowadays.
The spark. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, what is chispa spark? It's a spark. She has a spark.
Yeah, but las mujeres ahora están cambiando. Like women are so powerful. I'm so glad to be a woman. Like I hope if I'm another life.
I hope you feel the same way when you're having hot flashes like me. I'm like, I wish I wasn't going through this. I wish I wasn't a girl.
I mean, women go through a lot of hardships, just our bodies. You know,
of course.
Imagine all that we have to endure. But it's okay. That's what makes us women.
And you still show up to work, you know, feeling crampy, feeling bloated, feeling disgusting and gross. And you still have to show up looking beautiful and happy. Hey, how's everybody doing? Good, great. Okay, great. Because I'm bloated like a motherfucker right now. I love that you say that, because it is really about being secure in yourself. So let's talk a little bit about the business component of it. So how are you funding your business? How is that happening for you?
So right now, it's just cash flow. I'm thankful to say that it's just cash flow. When I started, were my savings. And I think one of my advantage was that I took a lot of pre-orders. So people will pay for it first. And then it went to production.
Makes sense.
And that made me some capital to kind of run my business, and it started going from there. So when I first started, it was like a lot of pre-orders, because I couldn't have like a fast fashion time frame of like, production goes on Monday, comes out on Friday. And, you know, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks. But now that the cash flow has grown, I'm able to kind of have everything in stock, and shipping is faster. So I started with some savings, and then everything just kind of started growing. Like put in what my first, the first money that came in, I put it back in the business. I wouldn't have any money for me. Like I was still working.
You're not paying yourself, basically. It gets reinvested into the business.
So the first 6 months of I was still nannying. I was still cleaning houses while the business started growing. At one point that I was like, I need to be full on this. I even stopped going to school for 2 years. So just back right now. And then I told my mom to come into my team. That was like one of the happiest moments in my life. Kind of telling my mom, like, you're going to stop cleaning houses. You're going to come work with me. Yes. It's not going to be as, as hard. Nice. And then I started hiring more people. Like my best friend, Sadie, she was like one of the customer service side. And then and it went from my mom to my best friend to a person that I not randomly, but like a person I didn't know. So it's been growing, and I think it's good.
You know, and I think college teaches you a little bit about business and a little bit about how to, find funding or ask people to invest in you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So like right now, I hope to go to, sign up for a small business website. I don't recall the name, but there's
like
so
for
much.
Loans?
Yeah, there's so much opportunity, especially for like woman-owned or minority-owned.
Yeah, for
there's
sure.
so much funding that you can, we can get advantage of. And maybe I'm sleeping on it, but I think I will look into that and,
No, and I think that you have a proven concept now. I think they're going to ask you if it's a proven concept, and you sell a lot. You have your social media following. You have your TikToks. I think that's one thing that investors are always looking at is that do you have a proven concept? Mm-hmm. Do you have something that has growth potential? Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that you definitely do, and I can see that from where I'm standing. Sneakers, shoes, accessories, clothing. Do you design the dresses, or do you have someone that designs for you?
We have exclusive collection. So like the dress that I'm wearing is not designed by me, but it's a work of the artisan. So I give credit to them,
Okay.
But there's like exclusive collection that we have that it's designed by me, but the main inspiration is the Mexican textiles so I cannot take full credit because
who decides how sexy something is going to be?
Me.
Because I see like off the shoulder, I see with a little boobie,
mini skirts, body cons.
Yeah, like are your artisans in Oaxaca or Chiapas? Like they're coming up with some really cool stuff.
So it's a mixture of them and me.
Okay.
But, mainly them. I give the concept of, modern and sexy, but the embroidery, it's traditionally them.
You got to tell me you still have that because that is so freaking cute.
I think we're sold out, but it might come.
Is that a jumpsuit?
Yeah, it's a jumpsuit. Kim Kardashian would love that. Oh, no, but she cannot wear it. Maybe. We'll see.
That girl will wear anything, I guess. So, okay. No, I need to go get something made with you because I need some of these things.
Yeah, especially right now for Fiestas Patrias, Hispanic Heritage Month. So, yeah.
And I think not only like in Mexico, but in Guatemala, in El Salvador, Nicaragua, I know they use a lot of hand embroidered.
Everything
so
is connected.
It's not exclusive to Mexico.
It's all over Latin America. Like there's like a Wayu bags.
In Peru too.
Peru, yes. All Latin America has, similar traditions and pattern making textiles. So, there's Colombia, there's Wayu bags that they also made in Mexico. So Guatemala and Chiapas are very close together.
Yes.
So that was the Mayan territory. So you can see the connection there. So like the Chiapas people and the, Guatemala are Mayan. So that's where, the culture, the traditions.
And that doesn't mean we can't wear another culture's clothing as well. I think it's very different when you're appropriating. It's one thing very different when you're doing that. It's another thing when you're inspired by somebody's culture and you decide to wear something. I like wearing kimonos. I mean, those are my favorite thing. And I'm not Japanese, but I love them. But there's a difference between like appropriating and like really feeling a part of the culture and feeling embraced by it.
It's giving credit, I think. Yeah. It's like you can wear something and give credit to the people, So, and I feel like a lot of people, a lot of mainly our customers are Latinos, but we get reach out to like other like Caucasians, African Americans, or just we have shipped to South Korea. South Korea, Italy, the Netherlands. And I look at the last names and they're not Latinos, So I feel like it's okay. I don't mind them wearing my clothes at all. I feel like if they show respect and they give credit, that's fine for me. But, a lot of people have different opinions, so to each their own.
I know, but then at the same time, we want others to embrace what we do. Yes. And it's okay. I embrace other cultures. I'm a huge fan of like Japanese clothes and like Turkish outfits and that sort of thing, and in India as well. I think it's great. I think it's an amazing thing that we tie ourselves to other cultures and we learn from other cultures. It's like traveling in a way. Yeah, bringing a little piece from somebody's country. I think that's wonderful. So what do you have coming up for the rest of the year? Let my listeners know where they can find you. Are you doing anything like a festival? I don't know. What do you want my listeners to know about you?
Pretty much to follow us on social media. I promise you won't regret it. It's fun there. And you're going to probably get a shopping addiction. And just if you live in Houston, come and visit us. We're in Harwin. We're on 10175 Harwin Drive, Suite 104. But if you follow us on Instagram, Guaraxez, I'm going to spell it slowly because it's confusing. It's Guaraxez. Just follow us there, social media. And yeah, if you ever want to talk to me one-on-one, like I'm always open on DMs. My personal Instagram is Fatima Gutierrez with double C at the end. Yeah, I'm thankful for being here tonight. Today was really fun.
I am so grateful for you. Seeing you grow and seeing you become the woman you're becoming, Fatima, has been such a pleasure to see. I get so excited when I see young ladies like you that I mentored at one time or that modeled for me at one time or that I, taught them because I was a teacher for a very long time as well. And seeing them growing and doing the things that they love to do, it just makes me so happy. And I'm just so, grateful that I have those opportunities to touch you guys in some ways and like definitely bring you on to talk about what you're doing. Because I think, we grow through inspiration and through motivation, and we grow by seeing how other people are doing it and not just thinking, well, they have something special. Everybody does. Mm-hmm. You just have to apply it.
Yeah, correct.
Execution. It's all down to the execution. Everybody has ideas, but you have to execute.
Yes. Thank you so much, Alicia.
Thank you, Fatima. I appreciate you so much, guys. Follow her. Go see what she's doing. Also, follow me. Follow Advice by Alicia on the podcast. We're on Apple. We're Spotify. Everywhere you want to find us. We're also hosting a Texas Podcasters event this Tuesday, the 27th. So let me know if you want more information on that. And let me know how you're thinking and give me some feedback. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks, Fatima.
Friends, I want you to meet my favorite bilingual realtor, Elmer Garcia. You all know that a passion of mine is real estate investing, and having a great realtor by your side is essential. Elmer knows the city of Houston like the back of his hand, and not only is he highly regarded by his clients, but also by the professionals in his field. I can tell you from experience that he is attentive, trustworthy, thorough, and detail-oriented. He knows what I like, y'all, and seeks out opportunities for finding the right property for me. His services range from residential real estate to commercial and investment. He will guide you the entire way, I can tell you that. You can email him at elmerg.realtor@gmail.com or call him at 832-512-5752, or you can also find him on Instagram, ElmerGarcia_real estate. And don't forget, anything real estate is his forte.